Hi everyone, Chris from Stone Age Gamer here. This is the Noble Game Boy. It's a fantastic handheld system with a fantastic game library. Same goes for the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance. Wonderful, wonderful games, but for as long as this thing's been around, people like me have always been trying to figure out the best way to play its games on the television. Well, the fine folks over at Hyperkin have come up with this doodad. This is the Retron Sq, and it plays Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on your television in a cute, affordable package that connects via HDMI cable. Let's take a look. Okay, here is the Retron Sq HD gaming console from Hyperkin, and let's see what is inside the box. We're gonna lift this up here, and here is the unit itself, and it is quite cubular. Look at this thing. Grab it out of this thing. Look at this thing. It's very neat. I like the color scheme. Power button clicks in. You reset, just press button. Use your controller port down here. This is where your game cards go. And then on the back, we've got memory. Looks like an SD card in here. Look at that. Little micro SD card. 512 megabytes. Yay! And then you've got your USB Type-C here, your HDMI output, and this is your aspect ratio change. You can set it to 4:3 or 16:9, which is pretty neat. Size-wise, just to kind of give you a little bit of a comparison for this little cube, here is a GameCube by comparison. So it's actually pretty tall. It's almost as tall as a GameCube, which is pretty wild. But it is, it's not quite a quarter of a GameCube, but there's your size reference for your little cubular Retron SQ here. All right, let's see what else is in this box. This here is our power supply. Nothing special there, but let's take a closer look at this guy here. This is going to be the controller, I bet. It's got some weight to it. All right, so here we go. Here is a close look at the controller. You can see this matches the unit here. Oh my goodness. Here's your HDMI cable is in there with the controller. That's why they had the extra weight. And here's the controller itself, which is very Super Nintendo style. Oh, this feels really nice. The D-pad feels really good. The buttons have a really good feel to them too. Wow, this is a really nice controller. It's pretty wild looking too. I like the crazy bluish look to all this stuff. This seems like it's got a nice, decent sized cable, and then let's see, foam and a sticker and a thank you thing and your instruction manual, which is also a square. Look at that, it's almost the same size as the unit. Wow, they put some real thought into this stuff. Well, there you go. There's what's inside the box. So let's go see this sucker in action. Now, as you can see, the console is already on, and that's because this guy actually supports hot swapping. You don't have to turn the system on and off to take your games in and out, so that's kind of cool. So we're just going to leave this on, and we're going to start with something simple. This is Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters for Game Boy. This is a regular Game Boy game, nothing fancy or special about it. Let's see how it reacts. We're just going to toss this right in the top here, pick up our trusty controller, is right here, and as you can see, it does take a minute to load, so it's doing its thing there. It's thinking, like the Dreamcast, it's thinking. There we go. And here we are. There is Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters playing. Looks pretty nice. Controls are nice and responsive. I really do like this controller. And one thing that I will point out about this is that the visuals are not really something that you can mess with. Like on a Game Boy Color or something, you have an option when the screen starts up to adjust the colors to the way you want them to be, different color sets. This does not have that option. It's just playing however you plug them in, that's the way they're going to look. And Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, gotta say, doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty decent. So that is how it handles a regular black and white Game Boy game. Next, let's see how it handles this. This is the absolutely spectacular Donkey Kong 94 for Game Boy. This was Super Game Boy enhanced. So this not only had function like a regular black and white Game Boy game, but it also has Super Game Boy support for special borders and stuff if you were to play it on a Super Nintendo with a Super Game Boy. So let's see how this unit reacts to this game. Again, we've got our little loading time, and here we are. Nope, yeah, it's just running it just like a regular Game Boy Color would. Which again, there's certainly worse ways to run Game Boy games. Whee! Oops, almost missed that last jump. And there we are. That's how it handles a Super Game Boy compatible game, just runs it just like a regular Game Boy Color would. Speaking of Game Boy Color, next up, let's try this. This is another one of my absolute favorite Game Boy games. This is Space Invaders, and this particular one is a black cartridge, which means that this is Game Boy and Game Boy Color compatible. So let's see how it reads it. Will it show up in color, or will it show up like a black and white Game Boy game? Let's find out. Alright, so this one here is running just like it would on a Game Boy Color. It looks great, it sounds great. Really impressed by the picture here. So you don't seem to have the option to play this in its black and white format, which, you know, that's something. I don't know why you would want to. This game looks totally awesome the way it is, but that is how it reacts to a Game Boy Color compatible cartridge. It plays it like a Game Boy Color would, in color. Next, let's take a look at one of these cool clear cartridges. These were the Game Boy Color exclusive cartridges, as in they only work for Game Boy Color. This is my copy of Street Fighter Alpha for Game Boy Color, which is a pretty wild port of this game, in all honesty. Let's see how it plays. Alright, here is some Street Fighter Alpha for Game Boy Color. Here it is, up and running, and well, I gotta say, it looks fantastic. I mean, seriously, the fact that this game even works at all for Game Boy Color is nuts, but this is playing this on a TV with a proper controller in my hand. Like, I played Street Fighter on Super Nintendo. That's how I learned, so this is actually really cool, getting to play this on a TV with this controller, which is working like a champ. This looks great. This is playing great, and it's functioning great. Let's see if I can do a super move. And look at that. I mean, he blocked it, but still, it's that is a functional experience right there. So there's your Game Boy Color game. Looks like a champ. Now, while on the topic of Game Boy Color, I do have to say that I did try this, and while it does boot up, you can't control it, which is kind of a bummer. I was kind of half hoping that I could pick up the unit and just kind of twist it around and play Kirby Tilt and Tumble like a crazy person, but unfortunately, no, this didn't actually work at all. The motion controls did not register at all with the unit over there, so that's kind of a bummer. Okay, let's polish things off with Game Boy Advance. Now, when this unit launched earlier this year, it was earlier this year, Game Boy Advance was still in beta. There's been a big update that supposedly helps Game Boy Advance games work a lot better, so let's see how this one reacts. Alright, we got Mega Man and Bass. Here it is. It's doing its thing, although I don't remember those lines being there. Oh, yep, that's a little strange. Not terrible. Let's see what actual gameplay works like. We've got some visual glitches here on the menu, but let's see what the actual game goes like. Oh, here we go. There we go. Everything looks pretty normal right here. And yeah, here we go. Playing some Game Boy Advance version of Mega Man and Bass on my television. It looks pretty nice. So from what I've gathered, I messed around with this a couple of other games earlier, and they worked just fine. So what I've come to understand about the Game Boy Advance support on this thing is that it's not 100%, but it's way better than it was when the unit launched, and they're just gonna, probably just gonna keep making updates for it. There's seems to be every chance that is a possibility. And in the meantime, it seems to work where it counts. I mean, it's running at a nice a steady clip and a nice frame rate, no big drops or anything like that. I mean, it's still Mega Man and Bass for Game Boy Advance. It's not spectacular, but it's running as intended on a TV, which is pretty nice. So there you go. The Retron Sq from Hyperkin is available now at StoneAgeGamer.com in this color and a fancy black one as well. So you can play all of your old Game Boy games blown up on your big old TV with giant chunky pixels the way Nintendo never intended. Hey, I think they look great. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked what you saw here today, please follow, comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what games you want to play on a Retron SQ. Do you have one of these things? Do you like where it's at? Do you hope that they eventually patch in support for motion-controlled games like Yoshi Topsy-Turvy? I don't know. Let us know. We always like hearing from you. Thanks again for watching. On behalf of all of us here at Stone Age Gamer, keep playing games.